criminal organizations, and they're about to make a lot of money. Are any of your beloved politicians are even aware of what's going on here or protesting the crimes of Wall Street? No, they're not. They're complicit in it. And here it is. The Fed will once again allow Wall Street banks to resume stock buybacks. JP Morgan immediately announces 30 billion of shares repurchases. Its shares pop in after market trading. No shit. You saw JP Morgan jumping almost 5% after hours because they're about to pump 30 billion bucks buying back their stock. It is no brainer here that JP Morgan will outperform in the stock market after allowing shares repurchases. And perhaps this is a good stop to talk about JP Morgan and remind the viewers that JP Morgan is one of the top criminal organizations in this country. And we called in this show the Laundromat. Why do we call it that? Because it got caught washing billions of dollars for criminal organizations, drug cartels, but mostly mobsters. And let's talk about Wall Street's sweetheart, JP Morgan CEO, Jamie Dimon. You know, the business news media, they love this guy. They worship him like an idol. When he speaks, they break their programming and they go into breaking news. Jamie Dimon said something, and when they interview him, they play the interview all day long. They talk about him. They gloat about his hair, his tan. Oh my God, his tan. Have you seen Jamie Dimon's tan? His suit, his smile, oh my God, his stature, right? But the truth is that Jamie Dimon is a gangster. He's a piece of shit criminal at the end of the day because he goes around and he pretends to be some people's champion, and he goes around and reminds you that he might be a banker in a Wall Street elite. However, he's just a tough guy from Queens. He always reminds you how tough he is, how poor he was. He just grew up in Queens, and magically he became the billionaire CEO of JP Morgan. And remember that tough guy, Jamie Dimon, of course, he learned how to talk tough from hanging out with mobsters while he washes their money. And he went live on air and he said that he can beat Trump, that he's smarter than Trump, and he earned his money, and it wasn't just a gift from daddy.
I said this before Trump was elected. You know, you're not going to get a wealthy New Yorker elected president. Boy, I was dead wrong. And by the way, this wealthy New Yorker actually earned his money. It wasn't a gift from daddy. And I grew up in a poorer part of Queens than he did, but I am a banker. I am part of the elite. I don't think the American public looks at Trump as part of the elite. They look at him as the upstart who punched the elites in the nose every day. Because I'm as tough as he is, I'm smarter than he is, I would be fine. He could punch me all he wants and it wouldn't work with me. I'd fight right back.
And all it took, of course, is Trump making one tweet, just one tweet, attacking Jamie Dimon, and immediately Jamie went back in his hole and he said, forget it. I'm not thinking about running for president. Matter of fact, he said, I'm a patriot, so I will help Trump. And he went on television and said this.
I shouldn't have said it. And I more out of frustration and a little my own machismo, but I shouldn't have said it. And and also proves I wouldn't be a good politician.
So Jamie immediately folded like a chicken. What happened to the tough guy from Queens? But here he is, pretending to be a people's champion, taking a knee, pretending that he cares about Black Lives Matter. But the truth is that Jamie Dimon is the last remaining bankster from the 2009 submortgages crisis. And back then, his bank and Wells Fargo, among others, they actually intentionally targeted black folks, specifically poorer blacks, because they thought that it is easier to scam black people by offering them the dream house for very low down payment or mortgage payment. What do you know? They foreclosed the homes on these folks. They took the homes back, and we, the taxpayers, had to bail Jamie Dimon's ass back. And here it is from the New York Times. Bank accused of pushing mortgage deals on blacks. Furthermore, and this is from the National Magazine, special investigation, how America's biggest bank paid its fine for the 2008 mortgage crisis with phony mortgages. This was 100% a criminal scheme in which Jamie Dimon was involved. However, he got away with just a slap on the wrist. Continuing, you know the old joke. How do you make a killing on Wall Street and never risk a loss? Easy. Use other people's money. Jamie Dimon and his underlinings at JP Morgan Chase have perfected this dark art at America's largest bank, which boasts a balance sheet 1/8 the size of the entire US economy. But somehow they need to scam the people. Continuing. After JP Morgan's deceitful activities in the housing market helped trigger the '08 financial crash that cost millions of Americans their jobs, homes, and life savings, punishment was in order. Among a vast array of misconduct, JP Morgan engaged in the routine use of quote-unquote robo-signing, which allowed bank employees to automatically sign hundreds, even thousands of foreclosure documents per day without verifying their contents. But in the United States, white-collar criminals rarely go to prison. Instead, they negotiate settlements. Indeed, they do. Continuing from the same piece, here was how the alleged scam worked. JP Morgan moved to forgive the mortgages of tens of thousands of homeowners. The feds, in turn, credited these canceled loans against the penalties due under the 2012 and 2013 settlements. But here is the rub. In many instances, JP Morgan was forgiving loans it no longer owned. Wow. The alleged fraud described in internal JP Morgan documents, public records, testimony from homeowners and investors burned in the scam, and other evidence presented in a blockbuster lawsuit against JP Morgan. And you might say, oh, that is the past. JP Morgan might have been reformed by now. Jamie Dimon learned his lessons. No. Here it is in 2020, September 28th. The article from Bloomberg. Inside the JP Morgan trading desk, the U.S. called a crime ring. The U.S. government called JP Morgan a crime ring. The U.S. says that precious metals desk at JP Morgan was a racketeering operation. Now the bank is poised to pay a record penalty for spoofing. Here is a look behind 8 years of the alleged conspiracy. They've been running this scam, manipulating the prices of metals every single day. The government called it racketeering. You know what that means? This is like Al Capone and the mafia. But somehow these white-collar criminals get away with the crime every single time. There's just a price to pay, they pay the penalty, and they go at it again. Furthermore, here's from Reuters. JP Morgan probing alleged misuse of PPP funds by employees. Memo shows. Is this a bank or is this the biggest criminal organization in the world? And here it is from Forbes Magazine. Is JP Morgan Chase America's most corrupt bank? Furthermore, from Medium Magazine, how is a corrupt criminal like Jamie Dimon not in prison for fraud? Indeed, how the hell is Jamie Dimon is not in handcuffs or orange suit right now? In addition, here is from Vanity Fair. Jamie Dimon's $13 billion secret revealed. This is how he scammed homeowners, and he got to be compensated by the taxpayer and the Fed, and he became richer than before. His bank got to make all of their losses from the mortgage scam of '08 and then some. And perhaps let's finish with this so you can know how big of a piece of shit Jamie Dimon is. Here he is. Jamie Dimon defends capitalism in annual letter. Quote unquote, socialism inevitably produces stagnation, corruption, and even worse. How dare you, Jamie Dimon? How dare you talk about corruption, you malignant piece of shit, corrupt asshole. You should be in jail, not leading America's largest bank. But again, it is America's largest criminal organization, so who is a better fit to lead this criminal organization than Jamie Dimon himself? So next time the media tout Jamie Dimon as some working class hero and an honest guy in Wall Street, remember that he is a gangster at the end of the day.